Hey, Jeff.
Hey,
We,
Mark.
we talked we talked a few weeks ago, didn't we?
We did. We talked a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again too, man. I'm excited about your Claydream, about your special about Will Vinton, man. My first experience with Will Vinton was a movie when I was 12 years old. This is 1977. Boy, am I dating myself. It was called Fantastic Animation Festival.
Okay.
And it was a collection of 14 animated shorts. And I think it was done by the Vancouver Animation Board or something. But that's when I saw Closed Mondays, and I'll never forget that. And he was such an influence on me when I was growing up. So what did Will Vinton meant to you? And of course, making this documentary.
Those were characters when I was young that I just thought were the coolest thing that I'd ever seen. So that was like those were like my memories of Will and his work. And I came across a story, like in 2015 or 16 when I was finishing my previous film about Will and his studio and kind of the rise and fall of Will Vinton Studios. And, it brought me right back there like, oh yeah, this is the guy, him and his work. And reading that article, it felt like a movie when I was reading it. So yeah, that's when I reached out to Will and approached him about the movie. And it took about 6 months for him to finally come on board. But really it all started with the characters and kind of just that feeling of thinking back to that work that he made, that clay work that he made. And then as I got into it, finding things myself for the first time, like Closed Mondays was a treat to go through.
Yeah, he was such a legend in animation. The California Raisins, the Noid for Domino's Pizza, special effects for Return to Oz. We could go on and on. He was heralded as the next Walt Disney, but I can't. It's just I hate stories that end in tragedy, or just like so. I never even heard of this lawsuit, with Phil Knight and Nike. Can you tell me about that? This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people aren't really familiar with the story outside of maybe Will Vinton fans, but it's never really been shared before, at least in the detail that we're able to go through with the footage that we have. But it was a big deal, certainly like in Oregon in the animation industry, where Phil Knight came in as an investor and in about 1998, and the intent was to really grow the company. Will was rolling the dice. He was on this path to be the next Walt Disney, and he decided, I'm going to go for it. And as you see in the film, there's all kinds of things that happened. And once the company started losing money and some of the bets that they had made weren't paying off, it's all business. And Phil Knight had an opportunity to pursue more ownership of the company in an effort to kind of help his son's stature in the company, and did it, and took advantage of an opportunity that he had. And ultimately it didn't work out well for Will. Will was forced out of his own company and ultimately fired from Will Vinton Studios. And we tried to be as just honest and objective as we could with the film based on the footage we have and the story that that we felt was true. And it's interesting hearing people that are watching it, depending on what kind of person they are, saying like, oh yeah, Phil, that's what he had to do, or oh, I don't like how he did that. So it's kind of up for the viewer to decide what camp they're in.
Yeah, because watching some of that deposition footage, it just looked like it really got nasty.
It definitely did. It definitely got nasty between them. And I don't know if it had to be. I don't know why why it had to go that way. There could have been a better way to handle it, but that's how it went. And Will certainly came out the loser in the battle.
Yeah, I think if you get to the point where you're doing a deposition with someone like Phil Knight, I don't think I think it's like all avenues of being amicable have passed. So if it just looked like that was pretty much a last resort during that footage.
Yeah, it's I think about Will and just the fact that he started this company in his basement, with one other person, Bob Gardner, who they did this Closed Mondays film together, and it all ended more or less in a conference room, sitting across the table from one of the richest and most powerful people in the world. Quite the journey to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, we won't even talk about the child labor that makes his shoes. That's another issue. But how did you get access to footage like that? And who granted you interviews and cooperation? I mean, as a director and your producers, I mean, like getting that footage and permission. Tell me about that endeavor.
Yeah, so the footage was Will's. The deposition footage was Will's, but I didn't know about it until like 2 years in. Will had opened up archives, behind the scenes, a lot of things. And I had never heard about this footage until one day I was at his house and we were working on some stuff and I was shooting something with him, and or I was probably in his garage or his basement going through all the boxes. I mean, he just had boxes and boxes and boxes of archive and materials. And he just said, "Did I ever give you the deposition?" And I said, "What do you mean? Like transcripts?" And he's like, "No, we shot it." So he had that shot. For whatever reason, I don't really know, but he shot it and it still existed on beta tapes. It was never transferred. So I, found somebody to transfer those tapes, and obviously there was, some legal process to make sure, that we were using it all legally, and we are. Yeah, so I mean, that was, I always knew that would be a part of the story, but again, it was a couple years in until I got the footage and realized what it could be.
And researching this interview today, I didn't know he passed away in 2018. I mean, I'm really bummed about that, because now this documentary and your journey, this must mean more to you than ever now to have this completed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we feel like a lot of people that watch this maybe don't know, because outside of, again, the animation industry, which we made this film hoping that it would be more, general, like you don't have to be a Will Vinton or animation fan to appreciate the story. So we kind of revealed that, I think, in a way that is more for the people that might not have known. And so we were very kind of, careful and delicate on how we went about that in the film. And, I wish he was here to have seen the film and to, enjoy the premiere and all this stuff, which I'm sure he would have really loved that experience. I am happy that I got to show him at least some of the movie as we were going on, and he really responded to that and appreciated the work that was going in. And but it's great. Yeah, it's great to have this tribute for him, and for his family to have this as well.
And now screening at Tribeca Film Festival, so you have to be excited about that. This is the big moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tribeca is one of the best film festivals in the world, so I'm so excited to be a part of that and for people to finally get to see what we've been working on all these years.
Well, Marq, thank you for preserving his legacy and telling his story, because he's just a legend in the animation industry. Like I said, I started thinking about all kinds of influences when I was a kid and growing up, because I'm a big animation buff. So thank you for this great documentary, and good luck at the festival, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate it.